Yes, we are back again, and I believe you all enjoyed what you saw. Of course, there is no way you would have missed Liverpool playing, right? Especially when we are playing our last game of the preseason before we get into serious business. So, assuming you all watched everything that happened, are you not entertained? Are you not satisfied? This is a very interesting one. The difference between this particular game and the first game we played earlier, just a few hours ago, against the same club, is that this time around we are seeing the big names in the squad. Make no mistake about it. In the first game, it was still very interesting. We still saw McAllister there. We still saw some guys that gets into our starting 11 there. But this time around, we are hearing the big names: Salah, Vets, Frimpong, Kekes, Gravenberch, Zobo. Come on, man. So, starting from the lineup, this is a very solid lineup. Of course, I know that McAllister is not there, and he would surely have to get into this lineup. I don't know the magic slot is going to do, but McAllister needs to be in this lineup. And Van Dijk is also not there. Plus, Bradley is also not there. So, the squad is looking very solid now. But the center back position, I talked about it initially, is still very important. If you notice today, Endo had to play in that center back, and we'll get to that because he actually did a very good job. We'll get to that part of the game. So let's start with the scoreline. In the first half of the game, it ended as a 1-1 draw, and Liverpool were the first to score. So Ekitike is the one that created the goal and passed over to Salah, who buried it. So that was how we got our first goal. And of course, Bilbao did not sit back. They did not allow us to have all the form. So they jumped back in and they got an equalizer for themselves before the ending of that first half of the game. Now, just because you are seeing that we had a 1-1 score at the end of that first half, it doesn't really tell the whole story, because if I'm honest with you, that first half Liverpool were dominating it, and the link-up play from the forward line was very impressive. Talking about Ekitike, Vets, Cody, Gakpo, and Mohamed Salah. That link-up play. Now, when you have the three forward line and then you have Florian Vets behind them distributing passes, and let's not forget Gravenberch and Zobo in that midfield is just so massive. And this is exactly why I was asking questions about Maka. Of course, there is no doubt about it. Maka has to get into the squad, but it surely is very interesting to see how we are going to have all these players and how we are going to give them enough minutes. So apart from the fact that the first half ended as a 1-1 draw, I actually saw so much in the game that is quite very impressive, especially the transition from the back to forward and how each of the players draw back to assist in the defensive duties. Frimpong is someone that the way he runs in that wing is just so impressive, because we all know that he is a very fast player. So being fast and being willing to use that speed to assist both in attack and in defense is a very huge plus for us. So while Frimpong was doing his thing by the right hand side, Kekes was also doing his thing by the left hand side, and each of these guys are very decent defensively. Now, moving over to the second half of the game, it was pure chaos. Like, so much was happening, and we actually saw a lot more goals. Now, Cody Gakpo needs to be asked some questions, because he scored on both sides of the pitch in a very interesting way. At this very moment, I can actually laugh about it, because this is not a very serious game, and even if it's a serious game, we ended up with the win. And funny enough, that goal came immediately he scored a goal for Liverpool. So he scored the goal to give Liverpool 2-1 advantage, and minutes later he scored against Liverpool an own goal that leveled the ground. And he successfully redeemed himself, because while we were still at the 2-2 draw, the goal that actually gave Liverpool the win also came from him. That's exactly how we ended with a 3-2 win. Honestly, we could have scored 4 goals in this game, and the last one came as a very easy goal scoring opportunity. On any other day, it could have been 4. Yeah, that's it. we wrapped up this one with a win, and it's good to get that win from both of the games, especially in the first one, because most of the people in the lineup for that first game are basically people that we know they won't be starting for Liverpool. In fact, some of them could end up getting sold. Talking about Nunes and maybe Elliott. Some others for that particular first game are also trying to impress and get into the starting lineup. So the fact that they got the win is actually a feel good vibe for them and for us. Then for this last game, which is basically the last preseason game we are playing, there are some key takeaways. The first one is something I already mentioned, which is basically that link up play from the attacking players. Talking about Ekitike, Vets, Cody, Gakpo and Salah. It is off to a good start, and it's impressive to see that Ekitike can step out of that number 9 role and play on the wing, because it is from playing in that wing that he got an assist. That aside, on the right wing, we noticed an interesting combination between Salah and Frimpong. We got to see what it feels like to have Salah and Frimpong play in that right side position. Despite the fact that Frimpong plays as a right back, we understand that when we are in attack, Frimpong with his speed can be a massive advantage in that attacking line. And we notice that despite the fact that he is in that wing and Salah is also in that wing, two of them can work really well together. So once the season begins properly, whoever will start in the right back position between Bradley or Frimpong, I'm basically going to be okay with it, because each of them has impressed me both in attack and also in defense. Ekitike also impressed today, although I really wish I saw more of him, because I think he only played for about 55 minutes, or basically immediately the second half started, he played for a few more minutes and got substituted out. I understand the logic behind it, but I just wish I saw more of him, because him in that attacking four is just very impressive. And if we end up adding Isak to the squad, you can only imagine what will become of us. Plus, let's not forget the new lad, the latest signing we made. He's a very young player. Well, right, I don't know enough about him. I don't have enough information about him. But in this transfer window, we are hearing a lot of good things about the lad. Just a few weeks ago, Arsenal are also one of the clubs that were in hot pursuit of him. So I'm glad we got him. And he even came on today for the last maybe 20-25 minutes of the game. I know I'm not going to judge him based on his performance in the few minutes he featured for us today, but I will have my eyes on him, and I hope his future in Liverpool really turns out to be a very interesting one. Now, the final thing that is up for discussion now is Endo, Wataru Endo. His performance today is just superb, and this is the thing about Endo. Whenever you call him right back, center back, defensive midfielder, wherever you want him to play, he's that player that is going to give his best. For today's game, he played the full 90 minutes. He started off from the center back position, which he played really well, and then got moved to the defensive midfielder towards the last 30 minutes of the game, and he also performed really well. In fact, the last goal scoring opportunity we got, which was a penalty, the person that won the penalty is Endo, and we ended up not scoring the penalty because Salah just couldn't get it over the line. But this is preseason, and everything I saw today is quite satisfactory. So with this, we still have a couple of weeks left in the transfer window. While I'm all about getting Isak, I think I'm also very interested in getting center backs into the squad, at least one. If we are going to count on Endo and some other young lads to feature in that centre back position, I think we need at least one senior signing. Someone like Maguire would be a very good option. We saw it today, and Crystal Palace are saying that they would only let him go for about 50 million upwards. So as time goes on, we'll know what will become of that particular deal. So this is our last preseason game. Every other game that comes afterward is a game of consequence. There is always going to be something on the line, and we can't afford to mess anything up. See you on the next one.